Hello and welcome to another installment of Winter Solace here at the Asylum for Art. My name is Scott Arnold, and thank you to Alberta Health Services and the Instrumental Society of Calgary for being instrumental in putting this all together. Tonight we have Devetzis playing marimba and snare drum.
Thanks, Scott. Ooh, tiny applause. Thank you. Man, I'm excited to be here to bring some music to all of you tonight. The first piece I'm going to start with today is Little Hometown Composer. This is a piece by Veronica Krausis. She's originally from Calgary. She now teaches at the University of Southern California. And she also wrote Ghost Opera, which premiered here in Calgary last year. I was involved with that. Super awesome. This piece is called 5 Intermezzi for Snare Drum. And they combine poetry and playing the snare drum to create these little story vignettes almost. Please enjoy 5 Intermezzi by Veronica Krausis. Nepomuk had his beautiful new dress coat on when he sat himself down on the little round flat hill. Down below, the little blue-green lake caught his eye. Nepomuk leaned his back against the trunk of the little white-green birch tree, pulled out his big long black oboe, and played many beautiful songs, which everybody knows. He played for a long time, with deep feeling. Maybe going on 2 hours. Just as he had started up with, there came a bird a-flying, and he had gotten to a fly. Meinrad came running up the hill, all hot and out of breath, and with his crooked, pointed, sharp, curved, shining sword, struck off a nice fat chunk of the oboe. He was turning and turning and turning and turning outside my window on a big unicycle suspended in air beside a black tree. Hey, why are you turning and turning and turning, getting nowhere fast on that wheel, when you could be talking to me? I've always been here, turning and turning, and I'll always be here, turning and turning. From the beginning and to the end, turning. From alpha to omega, turning and turning. And I looked, and I saw it was me. boom, 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 ding, boom, ding. Boom 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 taka boom taka boom 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 ta boom ta boom taka boom boom stick it ding boom tick it ding 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 boom stick it boom 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 ding boom 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 ding ding boom 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 ding 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 boom 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 ding 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 the boom boom ding boom da boom da boom da boom da boom da boom da daga 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 ding boom 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 boom. In the beginning of time, to say the least, there were the compasses, whirling in void, their feet traced out, beginnings and endings, beginning and end, in a single line. Wisdom danced also in circles, for these were her kingdom. The sun spun, worlds whirled, the seasons came round, and all things went their rounds. But in the beginning and end were in one. And in the beginning was love. Love made a sphere, all things grew within it. The sphere then encompassed beginnings and endings, beginning and end. Love had a compass whose whirling dance traced out a sphere of love in the void. In the center thereof rose a fountain. Oh, by the by, has anybody seen little you I who stood on a green hill and threw his wish at blue? With a swoop and a dart, out flew his wish. It dived like a fish, but it climbed like a dream, throbbing like a heart, singing like a flame. Blue took it my, far beyond far, and high beyond high. Bluer took it your, but bluest took it our, away, beyond where. What a wonderful thing is the end of a string, murmurs little you, I, as the hill becomes nil. And will somebody tell me why people let go? Thank you. That was 5 Intermezzi for Solo Snare Drum by Veronica Krausis. I hope she's watching. Hi, Veronica. The next piece I'm going to play for you is for marimba. We brought this beautiful instrument in here. It does pack down. I can fit it into a car. It's pretty cool. Huge thank you to Cassandra and Scott for helping me load it in because it was so easy with 3 people. This next piece is called My Lady White, and it's by an American composer called David Maslanka. It's in 3 movements, and each movement is based off of some poetry that he enjoys. The first movement is entitled Madrigal, My Lady White. The second movement is Sing, Birds, no. One second. It's spring. The first word is spring. Spring, birds sing, a gift of rings. And the third movement is for Pretty Allison. Allison is the name of David Maslanka's wife. David Maslanka actually recently passed away, I think, within the last few years or so. Anyway, this piece is to his own Lady White, his Allison. Yeah, please enjoy this beautiful piece. Disorienting as a performer when like there's no applause. Like maybe that sounds a little egotistical, but it's just because we're so used to it. It's very strange. I appreciate the enthusiasm from just the 3 people in this room. It's really fantastic. The next piece I'm going to play for you is for solo snare drum again. And this piece is pretty special to me because it was gifted to me by the composer after I went to this percussion seminar. I explained this terribly. Let's back it up a second. This composer is part of a percussion quartet known as So Percussion. And they put on a summer seminar every year. It's been like 10 years. And this was gifted to all the participants at the end of our seminar by the composer, whose name is Jason Troiting. He's like a really cool dude. He's like one of the coolest people I know. And this piece is meant to be an ode to the performer's favorite drummer. So there's little moments where you get to sort of sneak in clues about who they are, and also share a secret with your drum. And this piece is played in, it demands that you play the drum in a bit of an unconventional way. So please enjoy Thank You by Jason Troiting. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He is not tall and usually has salt and pepper stubble. favorite because he's so authentic. He's my favorite because he's so authentic. He's my favorite because he's so authentic. Thank you. I'm good. I'm doing really good. It's like a little lightheaded having to like do all that humming. I had to change it last minute because it calls for whistling, and I can't whistle with this on. And I just didn't think of it. Humming, you know, it happens. Wow, this has been awesome. Huge thank you to Scott here at the Asylum for Art. He's been working the cameras, and like he set everything up. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy over here. There's 3 cameras. There's all these microphones. It's insane. And this is the 8th show, and we're going through to like February. Who knows? Aaron says. But this is phenomenal. And big thank you to the Instrumental Society of Calgary, who's also part of the organizing force of this, and like huge, like Alberta Health Services, who reached out and was like, let's do this. And everyone was like, yeah, let's do this. I have one more piece for you tonight. I have words for this piece, I promise you. It's a really great piece of marimba repertoire. I've said so many words already, and now they're just all getting mixed up. This piece is called Rhythm Song, and it's by a composer called Paul Smadabek. And I think most percussionists would consider it as our like classical repertoire, because it's kind of old. I mean, what you could call old in percussion repertoire. Everything else no, that's a lie. I was gonna say everything's been written in like the 21st century, but the David Maslanka solo was written in the 80s. Jason's piece, I think, was 2006. Veronica's piece was also 90s, which is about middle of the road for where our repertoire starts to become like solo percussion repertoire. But yeah, this is Rhythm Song. Please enjoy it. And thank you for having me here tonight. Thank you all of you for tuning in and listening from wherever you are. I hope you're all healthy, as happy as you can be. And yeah, that's all. Thanks.
It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have a little bit of a question and answer period that we're going to be doing now. For some reason, my iPad isn't getting that. So if you are also having problems getting to the comment field, there are a bunch of things here. But if you do, you can text me at 403-969-7257. And that's the phone that I'm holding right now.
That feels so old school, like giving a phone number out.
Oh,
when you're doing,
I know.
It's just so funny.
Yeah, totally. Or you could Instagram me too, I suppose. There you
Ooh, that's the future, right?
Mm-hmm. So that was absolutely amazing. I love that. Before we get to their questions, could you tell me what the history of the marimba is?
Oh, yes, as much as I can from what I remember in school. So the marimba, it's originally a South American instrument, and so you can like look this up, and they make instruments that look like this, but they have like gourds underneath as the resonators instead of, and they're not laid out like this. So this is laid out exactly like a piano. Sometimes they'll have like the single row of keys, and they'll do it like that. And the history of that is you'll throw like 4 people on one, and they'll all play together. I'm not exactly sure how it got from like South America further north. I believe Vida Chenoweth, who was a marimba soloist like in the 40s, 50s, around that time, she had a lot to do with how this instrument sort of started to become more popular and more prominent and like part of our training as classical percussionists. And it came from there. So this model here is 4 1/3 octaves. They used to be a little bit smaller than that. I think they would be 3 octaves. And now standard sort of is like 5 octave instrument. So people figured out how to like actually get those notes. The Mount Royal Conservatory actually has a 5 1/2 octave, which is, it's insane. Wow. Yeah, so they mostly got bigger. The way that we play it has changed a little bit. So you can see me holding 2 mallets in each hand. The grip that I use is not what we started out with. The grip that I play with was developed by a man called Lee Howard Stevens. The grip is called Stevens grip. And I think that probably came to popularity maybe like 70s, 80s. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that does indeed. So this is very much a North American version of a marimba then.
Yeah. You know what? I wish I knew more about like how Europe and like how that sort of happened, because they play it over there. Like it's a part of the what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like part of how percussion like does stuff. So I maybe that's something for me to research actually.
Oh, that's all good.
I'd be curious.
That's fantastic. I couldn't imagine having an extra octave on there. That would be like an extra 2.5 feet.
Yeah, they put it at the bottom. So actually when you have 5 octaves, you have you have exactly the same range as a cello does, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Neat. All right, let's get to your questions here. Okay. So thank you, Nia. Your playing is wonderful and also fascinating. Who are some of your influences growing up?
Like musical, I guess we'll have to guess. Like musical influences is sort of where I'm going to guess. Like when I was in school, like junior high and high school, influence came locally. So I had some wonderful, wonderful band teachers. My junior high band teacher was Kwan Lee, and he unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, I think. Like beautiful trombone player and just so enthusiastic about teaching everyone. If anyone doesn't know, I'm from Calgary. I like born and raised here, so I'm like in that system. And in high school, I went to Western Canada High School, where David Grimstead taught. So I got to learn with him for a long time. He's also a fabulous conductor, always like very good at getting us to listen. And like work together as a band. And I also worked with Brendan Hagen there, who continues to run the music program, and he's also doing a phenomenal job with like an absurd amount of kids in his band program, and they sound fantastic. And he's very good about discipline and dedication. And then as I got older into university, and I started to learn a lot more about percussion. Even my teacher from university, Rod Squance, who plays this instrument so beautifully, like it just so beautifully. I remember I didn't really know like the possibility of percussion even when I auditioned for school. I didn't know the capabilities of it. And I remember watching Rod play a concerto called Tongues of Fire by Christos Hadzis. He's a Canadian composer. And it blew me away. I like could not believe that this is what you could do with this instrument, and like with all of these instruments, because we learn how to play so many different things. So it's all sort of like hometown influence. Now, like players that I look up to are people like Beverly Johnston, who is from Toronto, and she does this amazing like theatrical work where she also speaks and plays marimba mostly, and like theater percussion. And another percussionist named Abby Cox, and she has been like a huge proponent also for commissioning works for speaking percussionists, which is a big area of interest of mine. And these two women, they just do it so flawlessly. Like they recite text and they do so much stuff. It's really cool. Yeah.
I thought that was very cool with the storytelling and the rhythm stuff. I'd never heard that before.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I really loved theater as a kid. And then I started to get shy and withdraw into myself. And so being a percussionist sort of served that very well, because we're always at the back of the band room and nobody pays attention to us, except when we make mistakes or drop things, which I've done. But that's okay. But this is like this sort of, I want to call it a trend in composing or like artistic interest that's happening, just like really fuses those two for me. And it's like, it makes me so excited. Yeah.
It's very cool. I guess this leads to another question here.
Yeah.
Also, are most percussionists comfortable using their voices?
I would say no. I don't think so. No. This is definitely a new thing, because you have to coordinate with your voice and your hands. What I did today wasn't the hardest thing I've had to do, but I played a piece where I have 30 things in front of me and then have to recite this biblical text. And that was really hard. So that took a while, because you have to get settled with the text too, and then you have to also approach it the way an actor does. You have to dissect it, you have to understand what you're saying, and the inflection that you want to put on the text. So it's another level of working. Yeah.
For sure. And I know as a singer myself that it's quite difficult to play guitar and talk.
Yes.
It's much easier to sing than it is to talk while you're playing music.
Yeah,
but
that's the whole thing.
Yeah. All right. So moving on here. What is the most interesting or unusual percussion instrument you have played professionally?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I gotta think about this. Oh, I've gotten to play a tape recorder.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
cool.
Written in, and you have to stop it and start it correctly. Yeah. I think that was the most. Actually, no, I want to expand on this, because this whole piece involved really weird percussion. So we started it with newspapers, and we had to play a newspaper too, which was a whole thing, because we had to figure out how to play this newspaper with articulation and get it to articulate the rhythms that we had. And I also bowed wine glasses in that piece and played that tape recorder.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
That is absolutely fantastic. Are there any questions from the two people in the room?
You answered what?
Who was your influence for the Jason's piece? Oh, okay.
Are you allowed to give that
I don't know. He doesn't really say in the instructions, like, if you have to keep it a secret. But it's for, he's a composer, percussionist, Andrea Mazzariello. He's from New York, and he works with Jason, actually. So, like, at this seminar that I attended, Andrea runs the composition side to it. He's really cool. Like, and I mean, like I said, I like his authenticity, but I also really like how he approaches writing, because he likes to create problems for percussionists to solve. And usually what I see as problems coming out to is you have to do like a lot of different things. So he makes you speak, he makes you play. It's like really cool music that he writes. It's groovy, but it's like a little weird and yeah.
Groovy and weird. That's a good description.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, very cool. Well, thank you very much for coming down tonight
Thank you so much for
and
having
playing
me.
this great music. Our next performance is going to be on Sunday afternoon at 2:00, and it'll be Claire Butler playing the piano.
Oh, exciting.
It is very exciting. I do like my job.
It's
It's good.
Like, yeah, I cannot say enough, like, how great, like, what is happening here right now.
Yeah, we're just going to keep
Amazing.
on doing it. Even when we're cut off, we're going to keep on doing it, I think. Okay, good night, everybody. Thank you.